Hi, this is Melanie of Pardesi Reviews, and I'm here to review the Telugu and Tamil film Nishabdham, or Silence, starring Madhavan and Anushka Shetty. If you're new to Pardesi Reviews, I do trailer reactions and film reviews of Indian cinema. I really wanted to like this movie. I was very excited when I saw the trailer that we have Madhavan, who is one of my all-time favorites, Maddie with Anushka, and I will say the flashback scenes of their romance and whatever was absolutely wonderful. I watched the trailer in Tamil, so the film is titled Silence. It was released simultaneously on Amazon in Malayalam, Tamil, and Telugu. And I asked you which one should I watch it in, and since I learned that the filmmaker himself is Telugu and most of the cast were Telugu speakers, I chose that. Even though Anushka Shetty's part, she plays a woman who is deaf and mute. So she is just conversing via sign language. She doesn't speak a word for the entire film. Madhavan, a lot of his dialogue was in English, which I could hear that was his natural voice even in the Telugu version, and then he was dubbed for some of the Telugu dialogue. So the trailer, when I watched it, I was like, okay, it's a haunted house, it's a mystery thriller. I was confused, and I'm still confused after watching the film because it's a little bit of everything. The film is set completely in the Seattle area in the US. I don't know why, but it is. Okay, beautiful scenery in Seattle. Although I will tell you, there's a certain part in the film where one of the characters is a wildlife photographer, and they take pictures of deer or elk, and they take pictures of bears. Okay, but then a tiger. We have no tigers in the US, only in zoos. No tigers. Mountain lions, yes. Tigers, no. Okay, so we start the film back in the 70s, and they show us why this house, this setting, is a haunted house because of this mysterious killing. And there was because this character at the very beginning is a white character. She goes upstairs in the house and takes off her dress and shows us she's in her bra for absolutely no reason at all, just for the titillation, I guess. And then she puts on another dress and comes back downstairs and finds her partner killed in a very bizarre way in the basement. So thus we have a haunted house. Okay, and then Anushka's character wants to go to the haunted house because there's a painting in the basement that we see in this initial scene, and she's a painter, and she convinces her fiance Madhavan that I need to go to this haunted house and paint this painting. We get flashbacks of their love story, whatever. Something dramatic happens. I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but we have a detective played by Anjali. And the frustrating thing for me, I was like, great, we have this woman detective, and then her superior, whatever the captain of the police force, is played by Michael Madsen of the Quentin Tarantino movies, who, I guess because he's this American character, uses the F word all the time. Again, for just for color. I guess because it's on Amazon, thus we can use the F word. Okay. So they have this little bit of a contentious working relationship, and Anjali's character, Maha, was like, oh great, we have this woman detective. There is a twist halfway through where we find out something about a particular character that actually did surprise me a little bit, especially how we learn about that. And I was like, okay, that was one really good twist. But then Maha, the Anjali's character, mostly disappears for the second half, where we hear the backstory for the villain and a whole other mystery plot through an extensive flashback of a side character that becomes more central. Okay. So I was really frustrated that Anjali's character doesn't come back until like to save the day at the very, very end. So if you're setting up a mystery and you have this character played by Anushka who's deaf and dumb, mute, that's setting up, like, they had this really good establishment at the beginning where I was watching, with subtitles, and they would say, you hear silence, and so their point, you get her point of view where she's not hearing the radio, it's just silence, and she's just noticing and taking pictures of things. And so that was great. But then frequently, if you've set up a horror film, like, then that should be something that people can sneak up on her because she can't hear them. Like, that should be extra scary. That should be a thriller thing. And I felt like, aside from a couple of jumps in the very beginning, I wasn't scared. Was I supposed to be? Because I wasn't. I wasn't scared by really anything about her being in peril. Not really at all. And the mystery thriller part of it, while it had some interesting twists and turns, the execution of how that was all laid out to us as the audience was frustrating, and how it was told to us, because it was literally like told instead of, like I said, the audience as a viewer learning things like through the detective's eyes, which is what I thought the path of where we were going was going to happen. There were some good ideas, but then the way that it all happened in the movie was frustrating to me. I don't fault Madhavan or Anushka. In fact, Madhavan's character was really interesting. I don't want to spoil, but it reminded me of how he played a different kind of a character, like Breathe. So I admire him for going there. The Michael Madsen character was kind of a one-note stereotype. I think he could have done more, but there wasn't that much more for him to do. Shalini Pande actually has an interesting role. I thought of all the supporting characters, she took a really interesting character and she went interesting places with it. Like I said, what I liked most about it was the Madhavan Anushka, like the initial chemistry that they're showing us. Just overall, I don't want to spoil what happens, but I'm just going to tell you that I was just a little bit disappointed and frustrated with the film. It's okay. I read Bharadwaj Rangan's review of this film, and he was savage. So I don't know that I'm going to be that savage with it. It's an okay time pass. It's on Amazon Prime if you're already a subscriber. I don't really understand, though, why particularly her character had to be disabled, had to be mute, and because there's always like an interpreter there. Like when she's questioned by the police, there's an interpreter. There's never a moment where her handicap becomes central to the narrative, if you understand what I'm saying, unless it's supposed to be symbolism that I don't know exactly what the point, like, of calling the film Silence just because she's disabled. It seemed to be like a gimmick rather than something that was central to making us even more afraid for her character, that she couldn't let herself be heard. Mixed bag with this movie, and a little bit disappointing. I'd love to know what you thought about it. If you had a chance to see it, again, it's playing on Amazon Prime India. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this film. Follow me on Twitter at PardeziYT. Subscribe here to Pardesi Reviews. And if you hit the bell when you subscribe, you'll never miss another trailer reaction or film review.